Two families start in the same neighborhood earning almost the same salary. 10 years later, one has upgraded the house, the cars, the vacations, and nearly every convenience. The other still lives comfortably, but kept most of those upgrades optional. One family looks richer. The other has nearly 7 times the net worth. The difference was not one reckless purchase. It was a chain of reasonable upgrades. Let me show you how this happens. In 2016, the Harris family and the Bennett family live 3 streets apart in the same middle-class suburb. Both households earn around $92,000 per year. Both have 2 children. Both have manageable mortgages, 1 reliable car, 1 older car, and roughly $12,000 in savings. Neither family is unusually frugal. Neither family is reckless. They order takeout sometimes. They travel once a year. They buy things they enjoy. Then the raises begin. Over the next decade, both household incomes climb to about $155,000. On paper, both families should become much wealthier. Their income rises by more than 68%. They have years to save, invest, and build equity. But the Harris family treats each raise as permission to improve something. The first raise replaces the older car with a new SUV. The payment is $610 per month. They can afford it. The next raise moves them into a larger house with a home office, a finished basement, and an extra bedroom for guests. The mortgage, taxes, insurance, utilities, and maintenance add roughly $1,450 per month compared with the old home. They can afford that too. A later raise turns 1 annual vacation into 2. Economy flights become premium economy. The basic hotel becomes the resort with the better pool. The total difference averages $500 per month across the year. Then come the smaller upgrades: grocery delivery, more subscriptions, better phones, a gym membership with childcare, a cleaner twice a month, new furniture that fits the larger house, more expensive birthday parties because the other parents seem to be doing the same thing. None of these decisions causes a crisis. That is what makes the trap difficult to see. By 2026, the Harris family earns $155,000 and spends almost all of it. They have a beautiful home, 2 late model vehicles, family photos from several impressive vacations, and less than 3 months of expenses in cash. Their retirement accounts have grown, but far more slowly than their income. The Bennett family receives similar raises, but they follow a different rule. They allow their lifestyle to improve, just not at the same speed as their income. They replace the old car when repairs stop making sense, but they buy a 3-year-old model with cash and keep the other car. They renovate the kitchen instead of moving. They take better vacations, but not more of them. They add a cleaner once a month because it genuinely improves their week, then cut 2 subscriptions and reduce restaurant spending to pay for it. Most importantly, they increase investments every time income increases. By 2026, they do not look dramatically different from where they started. Their home is nicer, their life is easier, their children have had good experiences. But the cost of maintaining their life rose by only about $1,000 per month, while their after-tax income rose by several thousand. The remaining difference went into retirement accounts, index funds, cash reserves, and mortgage principal. The Harris family has around $110,000 in financial assets outside home equity. The Bennett family has more than $700,000. Same decade, similar income, similar neighborhood, completely different levels of freedom. This is the middle-class upgrade trap. Most people imagine financial failure as one dramatic mistake: a gambling problem, a failed business, an enormous credit card balance, a luxury car that never made sense. But middle-class wealth is usually damaged more quietly: a better apartment, a safer neighborhood, a newer vehicle, a more convenient routine, a few services that save time, a vacation that finally feels worthy of the work you put in. Each upgrade makes sense in isolation. Together, they raise the permanent cost of your life until every future dollar already has a job. The trap is not that you improve your life. The trap is that temporary income growth becomes permanent lifestyle growth. That distinction matters. Income is flexible. Lifestyle commitments are sticky. This creates what I call the fixed cost ratchet. A ratchet moves easily in one direction and resists moving backward. Middle-class lifestyles behave the same way. Moving into a larger home feels like progress. Moving back into a smaller one feels like failure. Buying the new SUV feels normal after a promotion. Returning to a 10-year-old sedan feels like something went wrong. Hiring help feels like a deserved use of money. Doing the work yourself again feels like losing ground. The cost goes up easily. Bringing it down requires an emotional explanation. That is why people can know they are overspending and still change nothing. The arithmetic is simple. The identity cost is not. The Harris family does not experience its lifestyle as excessive. They experience it as normal for people earning $155,000. That word, normal, does enormous financial damage. Normal is not based on what produces security. It is based on what the people around you appear to be doing. If 3 coworkers lease expensive cars, the 4th car begins to look reasonable. If every family in the neighborhood remodels the kitchen, an older kitchen begins to feel neglected. If social media shows elaborate vacations every week, a simple trip begins to feel like a missed opportunity. The reference point moves. You are no longer comparing your life with what you needed 5 years ago. You are comparing it with the upgraded lives visible around you today. This is how comfort turns into expectation. The first time you pay for food delivery, it feels like a treat. After several months, cooking on a tired Wednesday feels unusually difficult. Human beings adapt quickly to improvements. The pleasure fades. The cost stays. That is the cruel mathematics of lifestyle inflation. You receive a permanent bill in exchange for a temporary increase in satisfaction. Nowhere is this more visible than with housing. A family moves from a $350,000 home to a $550,000 home. The new house is not a mansion. It is simply newer, larger, and located in a slightly better school district. The additional mortgage payment might be $900 per month. Higher property taxes add $250. Insurance adds another $80. Utilities increase by $120. Maintenance on the larger, more valuable property can easily average several $100s more. The real upgrade is not $900 per month. It might be $1,500 or $1,700. That is more than $18,000 per year. Over 10 years, even before investment returns, the difference can approach $180,000. If a portion of that money had been invested consistently, the opportunity cost becomes much larger. You did not only buy more square footage, you bought a higher minimum income requirement. The same thing happens with cars. The payment gets most of the attention because it is the number shown at the dealership. But the upgraded car may also require more expensive insurance, premium fuel, larger tires, costlier repairs, and a stronger desire to replace it before it looks old. A $650 payment is not just $650. The car creates an ecosystem of expenses and expectations. Then the second car gets upgraded because it now looks unusually old beside the first one. One upgrade changes the standard for everything around it. New furniture makes the old rug look worn. The renovated kitchen makes the living room feel dated. The larger home creates empty spaces that seem to need decoration. The expensive vacation makes the simple weekend trip feel less memorable. This is the lifestyle multiplier. Purchases do not arrive alone. They recruit supporting purchases. The first cost is visible. The surrounding costs appear gradually, often months later, which prevents your brain from connecting them to the original decision. That separation is financially dangerous. If the full 10-year cost of an upgrade appeared on the day you bought it, many upgrades would look absurd. Imagine standing in a car dealership and seeing a label that says, "Vehicle price, $48,000. Total estimated cost with interest, insurance difference, fuel, maintenance, and early replacement behavior, $78,000. Estimated future value if the upgrade difference were invested, $135,000. The decision would feel different. But life presents the cost in small pieces. A payment this month, a tire next year, a higher insurance renewal later, a trade-in 3 years earlier than necessary. Small costs bypass resistance. This is why the middle-class upgrade trap rarely feels like overspending. It feels like a series of manageable payments. The word manageable deserves suspicion. Manageable means you can survive the payment under current conditions. It does not mean the payment improves your financial life. It does not mean it is resilient. It does not mean it is worth the future flexibility you are giving up. A household earning $155,000 may technically manage $8,000 per month in recurring obligations. But once those obligations exist, the household cannot easily take a lower-paying job, survive a long employment gap, start a business, reduce working hours, or absorb a major emergency. The lifestyle is affordable. The freedom is gone. That is the hidden trade. Upgrades are usually sold as improvements in quality of life. Some genuinely are. A safer car, a shorter commute, reliable childcare, better healthcare, and a home that fits your family can be excellent uses of money. The point is not to refuse every improvement. The point is to distinguish between an upgrade that solves a real problem and an upgrade that raises your standard because your income rose. Those are not the same thing. A real problem exists before the purchase. The purchase reduces friction, risk, or pain that matters repeatedly. A status upgrade creates a new definition of normal. Its value depends heavily on comparison, novelty, or appearance. Ask what would happen if nobody else knew about the purchase. Would you still want the larger car if your neighbors never saw it? Would you still choose the premium renovation if no guest entered the room? Would you still take the more expensive trip if no photo could be posted? Would the upgrade still improve your ordinary Tuesday? That last question matters most. People often spend for peak moments while ignoring ordinary life. They buy the house for the holiday gathering that happens twice a year. They buy the vehicle for the road trip they imagine taking. They pay for the membership because of the person they hope to become. Then they spend most of the year paying for a possibility. The middle-class upgrade trap feeds on imagined usage. It also feeds on future income. A family receives a promotion and immediately commits the raise before the higher paycheck has even become normal. The new income is treated as guaranteed, and the old lifestyle is treated as obsolete. This is how people spend money they have not yet proven they can consistently keep. A safer approach is to let income rise before lifestyle rises. Keep the old structure for 6 or 12 months. Watch what the raise looks like after taxes. Use part of it to strengthen savings. Give yourself time to discover whether the promotion is stable and whether the desire to upgrade survives the waiting period. Most people do the reverse. They reward the raise immediately, then attempt to save whatever remains. Almost nothing remains. There is a simple reason. Lifestyle expansion has no natural stopping point. The next level always exists. There is always a better neighborhood, a more spacious home, a more prestigious school, a more comfortable flight, a more advanced phone, a restaurant with better service, a service that saves another hour. Without a definition of enough, every increase in income becomes evidence that the current lifestyle is outdated. The Bennett family avoided the trap because they decided where certain upgrades would stop. Their home was enough unless the family genuinely outgrew it. Their cars were enough while safe and reliable. One major vacation per year was enough. They could improve specific categories, but no raise automatically triggered a full lifestyle review. They created a lifestyle ceiling. A ceiling does not mean nothing can improve. It means improvements compete with each other. If the family wants the cleaner, it may keep the older car longer. If it wants the more expensive vacation, it may delay the kitchen renovation. If it wants the larger home, it must calculate what that choice does to investing, flexibility, and retirement. Without a ceiling, every category rises together. That is where wealth disappears. The family never makes one $3,000 monthly decision. It makes 12 decisions that add up to $3,000. Then the new total becomes the baseline. Here is the long-term cost. Suppose a household directs $2,000 per month into investments for 20 years and earns an average annual return of 7%. It could accumulate roughly $1 million. Now suppose lifestyle upgrades reduce that contribution to $500 per month. The same household may finish with around $260,000. The difference is not merely $1,500 per month. Over time, the difference can approach $750,000. That is what the upgraded vehicles, larger house, constant convenience, and elevated expectations actually cost. Not because every purchase was worthless, because the money lost the ability to compound. This is why two households with similar lifetime earnings can reach their 60s in completely different realities. One has a lifestyle that required decades of income. The other has assets that can eventually replace income. One family spent raises proving that life had improved. The other used raises to make work increasingly optional. That is a different definition of progress. So how do you escape the trap without turning life into a punishment? Start with the raise rule. Choose a percentage of every future raise that will never enter your spending account. 50% is a strong starting point. If take-home pay rises by $800 per month, automatically invest $400 before adjusting anything else. You can still enjoy the remaining $400. Your life improves and your wealth building rate improves at the same time. This prevents the entire raise from disappearing into a new baseline. Second, separate reversible upgrades from sticky upgrades. A more expensive vacation happens once. A larger mortgage can last 30 years. A great dinner ends tonight. Private school tuition, a lease, a club membership, or a second property creates recurring obligations. The longer and harder an expense is to reverse, the more evidence you should require before accepting it. Do not evaluate a permanent commitment using 1 month of income. Evaluate it against bad years, job changes, health problems, and the future you want. Third, calculate the full upgrade ecosystem. For a car, include insurance, fuel, maintenance, financing, and replacement timing. For a home, include taxes, utilities, furnishing, repairs, commuting changes, and the pressure to maintain the surrounding lifestyle. For a convenience service, calculate the annual cost and ask whether it truly returns enough time or energy. The monthly payment is almost never the full price. Fourth, choose your rich categories. Spend more where money repeatedly improves your real life. Spend normally or aggressively less everywhere else. Maybe travel matters deeply to you. Keep the modest car. Maybe location matters because it shortens a painful commute. Keep the smaller home. Maybe childcare creates time and stability. Cut status spending that produces almost nothing after the initial purchase. Wealth builders are not necessarily cheap. They are selective. Fifth, run a fixed cost audit. Look at everything you are committed to paying every month before food and discretionary spending. Housing, vehicles, insurance, tuition, memberships, subscriptions, debt. Then calculate what percentage of take-home income is already spoken for. That number tells you more about freedom than your salary does. A high income with low fixed costs creates options. A high income with high fixed costs creates a more expensive form of dependence. Finally, define enough before the next raise arrives. What home is enough? What level of transportation is enough? How many trips are enough? Which conveniences actually make the week better? What savings rate would make you proud 5 years from now? Write the answers while you are calm. Otherwise, the market, your peers, and your future income will answer for you. The middle-class upgrade trap is not created by greed. It is created by adaptation. You work hard, your income rises. You want evidence that the effort mattered. So you improve the visible parts of life. There is nothing wrong with enjoying money, but visible improvement and financial improvement are not always the same thing. 10 years after the two families received their first raises, the Harris family lives in the larger house. Their vehicles are newer. Their vacations photograph better. From the outside, they appear to have won. But a job loss would force immediate changes. A long break from work is impossible. Retirement still depends on many more years of high income. The Bennett family looks less impressive, but they can survive a long disruption. One parent could reduce working hours. They could help a child without borrowing. They could move, change careers, or retire earlier because their assets are beginning to carry part of the burden their salaries once carried alone. One family purchased a more expensive life. The other purchased control over time. That is the choice hidden inside every upgrade. The question is not whether you should ever improve your lifestyle. The question is whether each improvement makes your life better or simply makes your income more necessary.